Is C.J. short for Chip Jr.? Does Flick not get along with Dad Nat? That Lottie is the niece of HHA Lyle, and that Isabel has a younger twin, Digby? Well, these are just a few of the relationships you may or may not know about in the Animal Crossing world. Stick around to find out more. Hey YouTube, it's Alexi Giovani back with another Animal Crossing video. If New Horizons is the first version of Animal Crossing that you're playing, you may be aware of some of the in-game relationships, such as the somewhat obvious Able sisters, which includes fashion designer LaBelle, who visits the plaza every so often. The other one is the Timmy and Tommy twins who man Nook's Cranny, but there's a few cross-game relationships that you might not be aware of, so I'm here to help you connect the dots. If you've got at least a 3-star island, you might know Isabel by now, who takes over from Tom Nook for announcements. What you might not know is that Isabel is a twin of brother Digby, who was last seen in New Leaf as the Happy Home Academy showcase feature. She admits that she's the firstborn of the two twins and looks like Digby is still associated with the HHA. Does this leave the door open, so to speak, for Digby in New Horizons? What do you think? When inviting Lyle with his amiibo, you'll get a nice little Happy Home Academy and designer reunion, along with the admission of the family connection of Lottie with Uncle Lyle. In New Horizons, Lottie looks after Happy Home Paradise, which the equivalent in New Leaf was Happy Home Designer. Having said that, inviting Lottie with her amiibo card brings along the Happy Home Paradise posse. Another cross-game family connection are these two, which is Chip, who used to be the fishing guy in New Leaf. CJ takes over this role, roaming the island, occasionally buying your fish and hosting fishing tourneys. Chip speaks of pride of his son on the internets, which made me laugh, but with this confirmed connection, does this also confirm that CJ stands for Chip Jr.? What do you think? Leave a comment below. Whilst these two have a seemingly tight relationship, this dialogue also more than hints that the relationship between Flick and his own dad is somewhat buggy. Boom, got another pun in. This is further connected when you invite Nat to the roost with his amiibo, which Nat seems really upset about. Flick, as you'd know if you play New Horizons, is the character that's often mistaken for a girl. Yeah, here's a guy. Flick, after all, is short for Felicity. He hosts the bug-off events just like his dad Nat did in New Leaf. Again, another level of detail where both these dad characters from New Leaf hang out just like Flick and CJ do. Casting your mind back to, oops, I did it again, back to the first time you spoke to Daisy May, you might have overlooked the fact that she does say that she's related to Joan, who used to sell turnips in New Leaf. It might not have registered if you've never played the game on the DS, but there's a nice connection when you invite Joan to the roost, who drags along her granddaughter Daisy May, who does the weekly Sunday morning turnip sales. It's also very adorable that she's given a cookie rather than a coffee. This game has amazing attention to detail. Now, what about these two? Side question, if these two are in the roost at the same time, who's looking after the airport? Funniest response to this question will get a shout out in a future video. Anyway, back to their relationship. We've got an awful high number of twins in this place. It really must be something in the island water. And according to Orville and Wilbur's Series 5 amiibo card, they're not twins, but it's not to say that they're not related. However, one can only assume that their names are inspired by the Wright brothers, Wilbur and Orville Wright. So, does the name suggest that these dodos also are brothers? Wilbur Wright is the older brother to Orville, and the way that these guys speak in the game echoes that. What do you think? Have you found any proof of this? Leave me a comment. You might know that these two are also related, who are Celeste, the stargazing owl, and Blathers, the museum curator. Though, what you may not know is that Celeste is the younger of the two. They're siblings in-game in New Horizons, but they were also in New Leaf. Celeste looked after the upper floor in the same museum in New Leaf. These two lovebirds, or should I say love llamas, carry over from New Leaf into New Horizons. In New Leaf, Reese manned a recycle shop almost like an op shop or a thrift shop. Cyrus always used to burn the midnight oil. In New Horizons, he can be found to the right of Tortimer, which you'll find out more about later on in this video. If you've just started New Horizons, you'll likely see them again in June when you get to redecorate their wedding scenarios at Halves Island. On to the Kapp'n family. For those that have played New Leaf, these are no strangers, but if New Horizons is new to you, Kapp'n is likely the first that you've met of them. He's the chap that takes you on mystery tours for 1000 Nook Mile points, and Kapp'n and his wife Leilani are sitting opposite to each other in this cafe. It's said that Leilani hates his sea shanties and singing. I don't blame her, that's why I mashed the B button. Then there's Graham, who's Kapp'n's mum and mother-in-law to Leilani, and Kapp'n's daughter Layla, which always messes with my mind by the way, because Leilani sounds like a smaller version of Layla. And then there's Tortimer, who you'll recognise now from Halves Island for your storage needs. He can be unlocked for 100,000 bells to allow quick access to your storage for customising with Cyrus and Reese next to him. In New Leaf, Tortimer had his own island which he'd retired to, where the whole Kapp'n family would live. He used to be the mayor in games prior to New Leaf, but that's where things changed and the player became the mayor. Now whilst Tortimer is involved with the Kapp'n family, is he actually Kapp'n's dad and wife to Graham's? What do you think? It's inferred that he is, but I couldn't find any proof. We've got more sibling connections in the Animal Crossing series, but these guys aren't part of New Horizons. Occasionally you might see them in the roost having a coffee, but these are the Rossetti brothers, Don and Sonny Rossetti, though it's not always known that Sonny's name is Sonny, but Don does mention this in this dialogue. Here are another two that didn't survive the move to New Horizons, though this is Phyllis and Pelly, the latter of whom is the younger sister of Phyllis. Pelly and Phyllis used to man the post office for the day and night shifts. Now they've been replaced by a postcard stand in the airport. I think we've got a stalker. Again, check the detail Nintendo have put into this. That's Pete, who had a crush on these two sisters. Hopefully you've been a little bit more impressed with this information and video than Flick here. If it was, relay that by hitting the like button and share with any friends or family that have just started the game. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Well, this is the end of this video. This is Alexi Giovani signing off, and you guessed it, until next time, see ya!